You are in a feud with Donald Trump right now. Do you know this?
No, I don't.
Because it's very exciting for
really?
me, because he doesn't like me either. And so anytime there's somebody new he doesn't like, I feel a fraternity, a brotherhood with this.
Okay, so we're having beef?
You're having beef because I guess you said...
Trump, a former president known for his thin skin, just met his match. And it's not a political rival or a journalist. It's Hollywood legend Samuel L. Jackson. The internet is on fire after Jackson completely humiliated Trump, exposing his lies and calling out his infamous golf cheating habits. But here's the kicker. Trump couldn't handle it. His response, a meltdown so spectacular that even his own supporters are cringing. And to make things even wilder, far-right conspiracy theorist Laura Loomer jumped into the fight, only to get dragged right alongside him. What did Samuel L. Jackson say that sent Trump into a spiral? And how did Trump's desperate attempt to fight back make things even worse? Let's dive into the showdown that has everyone talking.
Because I guess you said in an interview that you were a better golfer than him. And then you told a story, is this true, that he signed you up for one of your golf clubs and didn't tell you?
Yeah.
So you had to pay, like...
No, I didn't pay. Okay. I got a bill that I didn't pay.
Okay.
Because I had no idea, and I had my assistant call and tell them that I don't really belong to that club and I haven't been there in 3 years. And they go, well, you are a member and here's your member number. And they were charging me some pool fee for being at I haven't been there.
Before we get started, let us know where you're watching from in the comments. Now let's get started. Samuel L. Jackson never holds back. And when it comes to Donald Trump, he's made it clear he's not a fan. This feud didn't just come out of nowhere. It's been simmering for years, but this time it exploded into public view in the most spectacular way. It all started with a casual interview. Jackson, known for his sharp wit and no-nonsense attitude, made a passing comment about Trump's golf skills, or rather, his complete lack of them. He joked that Trump was the worst golfer he'd ever seen, not because he was bad at the game, but because he had a habit of magically finding lost balls and bending the rules whenever it suited him. The joke landed hard, but no one expected what came next. Trump, never one to let go of an insult, even one as seemingly harmless as a joke about golf, fired back in the most predictable way, by flat-out denying reality. He took to social media, angrily claiming that he didn't even know Jackson. According to Trump, the actor was boring, overrated, and desperate for attention. It was a classic Trump move: deny, insult, and deflect. But Jackson wasn't going to let him get away with it. Instead of getting into a shouting match, he did something far worse for Trump's fragile ego. He hit him with cold, hard receipts. Jackson calmly responded with proof: old photos, stories, and even a bill from one of Trump's own golf clubs, showing that Trump had secretly signed Jackson up as a member without even telling him. The revelation sent social media into a frenzy. It wasn't just a gotcha moment. It was a full-blown public humiliation. Suddenly, the conversation wasn't just about a celebrity feud. It was about Trump's long history of lying, his obsession with fame, and his notorious reputation for cheating, even in something as trivial as golf. But Trump wasn't done. Furious at being exposed, he did what he always does. He ranted. He lashed out at Jackson with a series of over-the-top insults, calling him a washed-up actor and accusing him of trying to stay relevant. The problem? Jackson didn't even need to respond. By this point, the internet had taken over. The memes, the jokes, the sheer amount of people laughing at Trump's meltdown, it was unstoppable. Then, as if things weren't chaotic enough, far-right conspiracy theorist Laura Loomer decided to jump into the fight. Loomer, a longtime Trump loyalist, attempted to defend him by going after Jackson, but it backfired spectacularly. Instead of making a solid argument, she ended up embarrassing herself, getting dragged into the Twitter firestorm, and becoming just another punchline in a joke that was already writing itself. With Trump and Loomer both flailing, Jackson delivered the final blow. He didn't need a long, angry rant. He didn't need a desperate defense. He just needed one perfect response. He posted a simple tweet referencing one of his most famous movie lines, telling Trump to bring a helmet if he ever dared to challenge him to a rematch on the golf course. It was effortless, it was brutal, and it was the moment that cemented Jackson as the undeniable winner of the feud. The aftermath was pure carnage. Trump, humiliated and exposed, was left to deal with the mockery from all sides. Even some of his supporters found it hard to defend him, with many admitting that Jackson had outplayed him at his own game. Late-night hosts had a field day, comedians piled on, and social media was relentless. What started as a simple joke about golf had turned into a complete takedown of Trump's ego, and no matter how much he tried to fight back, it was clear he had already lost. Leaked reports and insider accounts have revealed just how deep Trump's obsession with celebrities runs, especially when they criticize him. While most politicians brush off late-night jokes and Hollywood jabs as part of the game, Trump takes it personally, so personally that, according to former White House aides, he would spend hours fuming over TV segments that mocked him. But what happened between Samuel L. Jackson and Trump wasn't just a simple back and forth on social media. Behind the scenes, there was a desperate scramble by Trump's team to control the fallout. Sources close to Trump's inner circle have leaked that after Jackson's public takedown, Trump was seething behind closed doors. He wasn't just angry, he was humiliated. Staffers reportedly described the mood at Mar-a-Lago as tense, with Trump ranting about how Jackson had disrespected him and how the liberal media was conspiring to make him look weak. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Trump wasn't just mad at Jackson. According to insiders, he was furious at his own team for not shutting the story down fast enough. He allegedly demanded that his PR team find a way to flip the narrative and get back at Jackson in any way possible. In private discussions, Trump's allies debated strategies to retaliate. One option on the table was to dig up dirt on Jackson, find old controversial statements, exaggerate past scandals, or frame him as Hollywood elite out of touch with real Americans. Another strategy? Lean on right-wing media to flood the airwaves with attacks on Jackson's character, branding him as another radical liberal attacking Trump. But here's the problem. There was no real dirt to be found. Samuel L. Jackson, despite his fiery personality, is one of the most respected actors in the industry. His long career, philanthropy, and genuine personality made it almost impossible to tarnish his reputation. Instead of finding an effective attack, Trump's team reportedly grew frustrated, realizing that every attempt to escalate the feud was only making Trump look weaker. Even more damning was the reaction from Trump's wealthy social circle. Anonymous sources from private golf clubs in Florida claimed that Trump's reputation as a cheater on the course was something of an open secret among elite golfers. Multiple high-profile businessmen and former golf partners privately admitted that they had witnessed Trump's antics firsthand, moving balls, exaggerating scores, and even using caddies to discreetly adjust the game in his favor. Some sources even joked that Trump's reaction to Jackson's comments wasn't just about the insult. It was because Jackson had said the quiet part out loud. Meanwhile, the internet was doing its own digging. Investigative Twitter users resurfaced an old claim from sports writer Rick Riley, who had previously accused Trump of being the worst golf cheat he had ever seen. Riley had written in his book that Trump had a history of finding balls in impossible locations and that his caddies were instructed to always make sure he won. This wasn't just a one-time thing. There were multiple accounts from various people who had played with Trump, all saying the same thing. This wasn't just a public spat anymore. It was turning into a full-blown credibility crisis. If Trump could lie about something as trivial as golf, what else was he lying about? This question started circulating in mainstream discussions, with commentators pointing out that Trump's dishonesty wasn't just limited to politics. It was a pattern, a deep-rooted need to manipulate reality to protect his ego. Laura Loomer's involvement only made things worse. Insiders claimed that Loomer wasn't initially part of Trump's planned response, but she took it upon herself to jump into the feud in an attempt to gain favor with Trump's base. However, rather than helping, her extreme takes and bizarre Twitter rants only made the situation more ridiculous. One source from Trump's circle allegedly described Loomer's intervention as unnecessary and embarrassing, revealing that even some of Trump's closest advisors saw her involvement as a mistake. Behind closed doors, Trump's team struggled to shift the narrative, but it was too late. The damage had been done. The leaked details about his golf cheating habits, the resurfaced reports from past players, and the overwhelming social media response had made this more than just another celebrity feud. It had become a symbol of Trump's fragile ego, his desperate need for validation, and his inability to take even the smallest joke without lashing out. Even Trump-friendly media outlets had trouble spinning the story in his favor. Fox News hosts attempted to frame Jackson as a Hollywood liberal attacking a conservative, but it fell flat. This wasn't about politics. This was about personality, and Jackson had already won in the court of public opinion. As more behind-the-scenes details leaked out, one thing became clear. Trump wasn't just fighting Samuel L. Jackson. He was fighting the truth. And no amount of rage tweets or media manipulation could undo the fact that for once the entire country was laughing at him, not with him. The situation had already spiraled out of control, but what happened next took the entire feud to an entirely new level, one that Trump never saw coming. Just when Trump thought he could rally his base, shift the narrative, and escape the embarrassment, Samuel L. Jackson dropped the ultimate bombshell. In what can only be described as a masterclass in public humiliation, Jackson posted a scathing tweet that sent shockwaves through social media. It wasn't just another witty comeback. No, this time, he came with undeniable proof, something so brutal, so damning, that even Trump's most loyal supporters couldn't ignore it. Jackson shared a copy of an invoice from one of Trump's own golf clubs. The bill showed that Trump had, in fact, signed him up for a membership, directly contradicting Trump's earlier claim that he had never even met Jackson. The proof was undeniable. Trump's signature was right there in black and white on official Trump Organization letterhead. Within minutes, the internet exploded. The hashtag number Trump lies again trended worldwide, with people pointing out how easily Trump had been caught in yet another lie, this time about something as ridiculous as golf. But that wasn't all. Almost as if the universe itself had decided to pile on. Former professional golfers, sports journalists, and even ex-Trump associates started chiming in with their own personal stories about Trump's golf antics. One former caddy anonymously claimed that Trump had a long-running habit of making his staff adjust the course to ensure his victory. According to the source, it was an unspoken rule at Trump's golf resorts: you let him win, or else. Another former Trump associate revealed that there had been internal discussions about banning Jackson from one of Trump's clubs after a previous golf game where Jackson had allegedly refused to let Trump get away with his usual tricks. The revelation left Trump scrambling. His usual go-to move, denying everything, was no longer an option. The proof was right there. Even some of his most hardcore supporters struggled to defend him. Conservative pundits on Fox News and Newsmax tried to spin the situation, but even they couldn't ignore the sheer ridiculousness of Trump's claims versus the evidence. And then, just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse for Trump, another unexpected player entered the scene: Michael Cohen. Trump's former lawyer-turned-critic, who had spent years working closely with him, saw the chaos unfolding and decided to drop his own bombshell. In a live interview, Cohen confirmed that Trump had always been insecure about being outshined by celebrities, especially those who weren't afraid to push back against him. According to Cohen, Trump would often obsess over Hollywood stars who made fun of him, demanding that his aides find something to use against them. It didn't matter how small or stupid the insult was, Cohen explained. If a celebrity mocked him, even jokingly, Trump would lose sleep over it. He'd talk about it for days, trying to come up with ways to attack them back. Cohen even went so far as to say that Trump had once ordered his team to fabricate dirt on a celebrity who had refused to endorse him. While he didn't name names, the implication was clear. Trump didn't just react emotionally to criticism. He actively sought revenge, no matter how petty the reason. The public reaction was swift and brutal. Late-night hosts roasted Trump even harder. Twitter users flooded his mentions with Jackson memes. Even former White House staffers started leaking additional stories about Trump's infamous temper tantrums over celebrities. But perhaps the most humiliating moment came from the Golf Channel. In what can only be described as a career-defining moment of irony, they aired a special segment on Trump's long history of alleged cheating on the golf course. For an entire 10-minute segment, they detailed past claims from professional golfers, former employees, and club members who all said the same thing. Trump simply couldn't stand losing. It was the ultimate takedown. The very thing Trump prided himself on, his golf skills, was now the subject of national mockery. And at the center of it all was Samuel L. Jackson, who had just wiped the floor with Trump without even breaking a sweat. Trump's reaction was predictably explosive. A late-night, all-caps rant on Truth Social followed. He called Jackson a washed-up loser and accused the fake news media of conspiring against him. But at that point, it didn't matter. The damage was done. The story had taken on a life of its own, and no amount of Trump's usual deflections could change the fact that he had just lost badly. The fallout from Samuel L. Jackson's takedown of Donald Trump goes far beyond just a petty celebrity feud. It exposes a deeper, more troubling reality about Trump's public persona and his growing inability to control the narrative. For years, Trump thrived on controversy, using it as a weapon to dominate headlines and rally his supporters. But this time, things didn't go according to plan. This time, he was up against someone who wasn't afraid to hit back hard. Jackson's calm, effortless dismantling of Trump highlighted a glaring weakness in Trump's playbook. He can dish it out, but he can't take it. The former president, who built his brand on being a so-called tough guy, was left scrambling, exposed as someone who not only lied about his own golf history, but also got emotionally unhinged over a simple joke. This incident further cemented Trump's reputation as thin-skinned, insecure, and obsessed with his public image, qualities that ironically continue to hurt his chances of a political comeback. The impact of this feud goes beyond Twitter memes and late-night monologues. It raises serious questions about Trump's mental state, credibility, and ability to handle pressure, all of which will be scrutinized as he attempts to regain power. While his loyal base may brush this off as just another attack from Hollywood elites, independents, and moderate conservatives, the voters he desperately needs in 2024 may see it differently. Trump's meltdown over a celebrity's joke isn't just embarrassing. It reinforces a growing perception that he is too unstable to lead the country again. If he can't handle being mocked by an actor, how can he handle the pressures of the presidency? His erratic online rants, obsession with his own image, and inability to let go of personal grudges make him look more like a man unraveling than a leader ready to take on global crises. And let's not forget, this feud happened in the middle of multiple legal battles. Trump is already under fire for his classified documents scandal, ongoing January 6th investigations, and multiple civil lawsuits. Instead of focusing on defending himself against actual criminal allegations, he's wasting time attacking Samuel L. Jackson over a golf game. It's the kind of thing that makes even some of his diehard supporters question his priorities. Trump has always had a love-hate relationship with Hollywood. In his early days, he craved acceptance from celebrities. He hosted awards shows, made cameos in movies, and even tried to cozy up to actors like Jackson. But when he entered politics, that all changed. Hollywood turned against him, and he turned against Hollywood, branding them as woke elites who hated America. But what makes this feud with Jackson particularly damaging is that it highlights Trump's desperate need for validation. If he truly didn't care what Hollywood thought of him, he wouldn't have reacted so explosively. He wouldn't have spent days ranting about an actor mocking his golf game. His reaction proved that deep down, he still craves their approval, and their rejection drives him insane. Jackson, on the other hand, came out looking cool, unbothered, and completely in control. While Trump lost his temper, Jackson played the game like a pro, never losing his composure, always staying one step ahead. In the court of public opinion, there was only one winner. This incident also signals something even bigger. Trump's media strategy isn't working like it used to. Back in 2016, when he attacked celebrities, he controlled the conversation. He dominated the headlines. But in 2025, the game has changed. Trump is no longer the unpredictable outsider who shocks people into paying attention. His rants have become predictable, repetitive, and easy to mock. Even his insults feel outdated. How many times can he call someone a loser before it loses its sting? The internet isn't afraid of him anymore. Instead of fearing his wrath, people are laughing at him. And that's the one thing Trump can't stand: being ridiculed. Jackson didn't just expose Trump's lies, he exposed Trump's greatest weakness, his fragile ego. And that's something Trump will never be able to recover from. And now I want to hear from you. What do you think about this whole feud between Samuel L. Jackson and Donald Trump? Was this just another celebrity versus politician clash? Or do you think it reveals something deeper about Trump's character? Let's be real. Trump has gone head-to-head with Hollywood before, but this time feels different. His reaction was so over the top, so defensive, so unhinged that it made him look weaker, not stronger. Do you think he's losing his grip on the media narrative that once made him untouchable? And what about Samuel L. Jackson? He didn't just fight back. He completely owned Trump without even breaking a sweat. Do you think this was just a funny celebrity moment? Or does it show that Trump's insults no longer hold the power they once did? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. Do you think Trump will keep ranting about this? Or will he try to move on and pretend it never happened? And most importantly, who do you think really won this battle? Let me know your thoughts. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more explosive updates on the biggest stories shaking up the political world. Alarm fire